Yana Vanaka and good morning, Fiji, and welcome to another episode of the Brunch on my TV. I'm Jacquee Speight.
And I'm Ilatia Ravuwai.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on the show. We hope you have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. Well, there's been some big events and announcements over the last few days.
Yes, and this week we had the opening of the Israel's embassy within the Fijian Holdings building in Suva. The opening was an eventful one for me, particularly.
So tell us about it. How was it?
Oh, well, it started off, Jackie. We had the welcome ceremony for the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Gideon Sa.
Right.
That was a whole lot of event there. And then we had, following that, both the Prime Minister and the Minister for Foreign Affairs had a joint press conference, which was a very eventful one.
Yeah.
This, at the same time, protests were happening at the NGO Coalition of Human Rights.
And it's crazy because the buildings are just across from each other, right next to each other. Only the road is separating them.
That's right.
Saw the updates on that. Heavy police presence.
Yes. As soon as we finished from the press conference, we had gone up for the embassy opening. Surprisingly, the guys that were there already knew what was happening, so they had formed up already to protest. But then the police had come, told them they couldn't be on the pavement because it was hazardous to the public and to them. So they had to protest from within the Fiji Women's Crisis Center.
Okay, so within their boundary.
Yes.
Right, and they carried on.
They carried on, yeah. You might have seen from one of our pictures or videos that the Foreign Affairs Minister was waving from, I don't know whether the protesters saw that, would have added to their anger, waving from the top.
Oh, he was. Maybe he was being polite,
Listen,
like just saying, oh, hello to all of you.
We're here.
We're here. That's right, man. Anyways, also this week, we've been following the Pacific Islands Forum Women Leaders meeting in Suva, focusing on gender equality and economic inclusion.
Leaders from across the Pacific are looking at how global pressures are affecting people at home and the role of women in the region's economic response. A key movement came on day one when leadership of the meeting moved from Tonga to the Solomon Islands. The two-day meeting wraps up today.
It's wonderful to see all these ladies getting together. Important discussions have covered rising fuel prices, supply chain issues and global conflicts, including the Middle East. But the focus is how these issues impact women, young people and persons with disabilities.
There's also a push to make trade and economic policies more inclusive, Jackie. Leaders say inclusion must be part of the decision-making and not an afterthought.
The meeting also marked a milestone for the region. Kiribasa's Ruth Kwan Singh is the first Pacific Islander elected to the UN Commission on the Status of Women.
That's right. And as meeting ends today, leaders say the focus now is turning commitments into action across the region.
Also, the major news this week is the rejection of the Vuda Waste to Energy project, the EIA, by the Department of Environment.
That's right. It came as a surprise yesterday when the the statement from the government that it had already rejected the proposal by TNG.
Yeah.
And then there was a press conference afterwards that happened outlining all the recommendations by the Technical Review Committee, which led to the rejection of the EIA or the TNG project, that is.
And there was swift response online.
That's right.
A lot of people were, a lot of positive. A lot of people were applauding the government and thanking the government for acting for the will of the people, with how they were feeling. So we'll have more on this later in the show, and we'll hear directly from the Permanent Secretary for Environment, Dr. Sivendra Michael. So before we head to the break, it looks like we've got just enough time to squeeze in a quick update on our voting system.
That's right. We spoke to the Acting Attorney General, Siromi Turanga, recently and gave an update on those electoral reform bills that were tabled in Cabinet. Now, it turns out there's a lot of big recommendations are stalled right now because they are actually requiring amending the 2013 Constitution. which makes them pretty impractical at this moment.
But the government isn't hitting pause entirely. The Attorney General says they are pushing forward with the changes they can make under the current constitution, and those should roll out this July.
Exactly. They're mostly operational updates, Jackie, but there is a major change for voters. We'll definitely notice if it comes into effect, rather. They are officially scraping the numbering system on the ballot. Instead, you'll clearly see the name of the candidates and their political parties.
So let's take a look at this 2-minute clip of the Attorney General explaining exactly how this is going to work.
It's already been tabled in cabinet. We have drawn back because apparently they were supposed to provide 2 versions of bills. One, changes that can be made under the current constitution, and changes that will be required if the constitution is changed. Unfortunately, most of the recommendations is you have to change the constitution. So that's the very reason. It's impractical. You can't. There's no point you're going to implement that because the constitution has to be changed. Okay, those that can be changed under the current constitution, that's the one we are pushing right now. So they will come in July, and mostly to deal with the operational matters. And one of which, and no, I have to be frank and say, one of which is the issue of having the ballot papers. No more numbering system. We should have the name of the candidate and the name of the party. Those are the changes that is going to come in the July, and there are more operational matters that will. And these changes we've come to agree. We in consultation with the Electoral Commission and with the Supervisor of Election and the team. It's not just government. It's something that is actually, some of them are recommended by them. We're also mindful that we cannot bring changes because we, at the same time, we are amending the Constitution. So we'll be...
Interesting. Very interesting.
That's right, Jackie.
So the proposal for removing the numbers from the ballot papers and now listing party candidates along with the party name.
That's right.
And all of that is supposed to happen in the July sitting. All these proposals, but again, it comes down to the Constitution.
Amending the Constitution.
Yes, amending the Constitution.
That's right. We had the opportunity. I sat down with the Acting Attorney General yesterday. We talked about legislative agendas for the government.
Yes.
We also had asked him, because Parliament expires in December.
Right.
Is there enough time for government to meet all this? So, we had an extensive interview with him. He also said that he will be...
Some would feel it's rather rushed.
Rushed, that's right. That's the feeling
you're
out here.
rushing things along. Some things as important as the Constitution, to make amendments to it and then to try and do everything before December, it just gives the impression like, yeah, it's rushed. So what did he have to say about that?
I had asked him, because they have big legislative agenda that they need to meet. Amending the Constitution, the report comes out in August, which will be tabled, which will be given to the President, because that's in the TOR. Also, for them to do that, they need a referendum, which the referendum bill, it needs to also pass Parliament.
Right.
And also, they've got the Electoral Act to amend, Political Parties Act.
It's a lot.
Yeah,
It's
to get
a
done
lot
by
to
December.
look at, yes. And to be very thorough about it, to ensure they're not making any mistakes with it. When they do it well, that it works for everybody.
That's right.
So how confident is he that...
Very. He said we will be able to do this before Parliament expires in December.
Amazing. Well, looking forward to seeing what comes out from that. Anyways, don't go anywhere. We'll continue this discussion right after this short break.
Welcome back. You're on the Brunch on My TV, and we have in studio with us the Permanent Secretary for Environment, Dr. Sivendra Michael. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor. Thanks so much for joining us this morning, for taking the time to come in and speak with us. Very busy last 24 hours for you. How are you feeling this morning?
Much better.
Wonderful to hear. So the big conversation right now is the rejection of the waste to energy development project. Are you able to take us through how this rejection came about?
Sure. So the waste to energy proposal submitted by TNG Pte Limited started through our EIA screening stage, for which a full determination on a full EIA study was made. Terms of reference was issued on the 28th of November last year, 2025, which outlined the scope of the EIA report that needed to be prepared. The report was submitted on the 18th of March this year, 2026. And then we started the public review process, which concluded on the 22nd of April. Right. Between 18th to the 20th, we had the 3 public consultations. And between the time of submission till 22nd April, we had the written submissions. Yeah, then thereafter, at the close of the public review period, we start the technical review committee process, where the director appoints the technical review committee members under Section 30 of the Environmental Management Act and its amendments, as well as Regulation 29 of the EIA process. Then the TRC met a couple of times. They went through, there was many appendixes to the report, so the main EIA report and many appendices. So we first few meetings was to divide the work amongst the TRC members, who's going to cover what, and then they will do their respective assessments. They came back, then we discussed it, then we discussed further. We had a couple of meetings until the 26th of March, which was the last meeting. Following that, the Secretariat, which is the Department of Environment, helps with the preparation of the consolidated report for the TRC's endorsement. And then the TRC chair will, on behalf of the committee, will submit that to the director. So yesterday, 2nd was the final clearance of the report. On the 3rd, the director received the report. She made the decision, and on the 4th, the decision was issued early in the morning. Following that, we have to do a public announcement because this is an issue of public interest. And then we had a press conference to identify the grounds of decline.
So are you able to share, how was the decision reached? Was it because of the amount of objections?
No,
or for the viewers' sake, could you please let us know?
The EIA process looks at the different components against the terms of reference. Social impact assessment is one of the components, one of the many components under the terms of reference. So it's good that, you know, the public review process was where we are looking at social objections. Then there is the technical assessments, like how would be the bottom and fly ash managed, what is the reference facility, what are the baseline data, looking at the mitigation plans when it operates, how do you manage the residue that comes out of the waste that is being incinerated, looking at cultural, tourism factors, and then of course the public concerns. And then also we look at the economic analysis, the cost benefit assessment. So, you know, you have to compare between what is the cost of operating, cost of building operations versus a cost of not doing anything.
So you noted that the developer yesterday, that the developer tried to push critical matters to failure, to future assessments. So specifically, what were they trying to, are you able to tell us, what were they trying to hide or delay?
No, I wouldn't say they were trying to hide, but like, for example, what I would say is reference facility or the technology that they're going to use. What do I mean by that? Reference facility is basically, it's a similar grounds why the EPA Australia in New South Wales had rejected, because you have to compare your technology to another similar technology operating in a similar climatic condition or similar setting that has the similar volume and scope. Right, you can't just say, okay, I'm going to compare to this plant in Australia that's only producing, using 400,000 tons or 300,000. It has to be the same volume, same operational environment, same climatic conditions and so forth. So that was not provided. So at the point of submission, no technology was confirmed.
Okay.
Right. So one gap.
Yes.
A second gap, the importation waste as importation and transboundary movement of waste assumption. There was no preconditions with the governments that they were going to get this waste from. No approvals. No one said yes. Right?
Okay.
How are you going to take the waste from our landfill when the landfill operators, including the government that is running this landfill, did not have any agreement? There was no EIA done. Right, because you'll be mining the landfill to take out. You have to segregate only certain types of waste that can go. Not always can go. It's not just taking from the landfill and going. No, it's not that. You have to separate the different type of waste. Then you have to store this waste. Where will you store it? Yeah, residue management, when it burns, when the waste burns. So there were many, and so basically they will say, some of the comments was, we are still looking for the reference facility. We are looking for the best provider. And we will provide that in a future assessment. Unfortunately, we cannot do that because the reference facility is tied to the ash profiling or the ash management, the emissions profiling, all of this. It's tied. You can't look at things in isolation. You need to look at things in a package. And then, of course, you have your social impact assessment, the Tui Vunda, the community members' objection. The Sameto community, they organized a petition over close to 9,000 signatures, or over 8,000 signatures, and then 875 written submission. That's one. Then, of course, there was the cultural assessment that was also done, because it's a cultural site.
Yes,
That's where our first ancestors have actually landed.
Right.
So all of those factors, and then the cultural assessment is coming from the ministry responsible or from the the National Trust of Fiji. We have these institutions in Fiji that can actually give us that. We also have to look at the literature. So many people do not know. We went to studies all the way back to 1940s about this particular site. Look at the literature, go and analyze against the baseline data that they was using. We were also not comfortable that from the point of when the TOR was issued till when the report was submitted, which was November to March, the profiling of the traffic assessment for 2 months. You should look at the weekend conditions, the school peak hours, So all of these are critical factors within the 20 decline decisions that we had issued.
Very thorough.
Yeah, it is very thorough. And like I said, we are always held back when the information is not provided. And it's not I want to make it clear, it's not our duty to go back to the proponent to keep asking for the information. It is in the terms of reference. One of the conditions of the terms of reference is the appendices, the raw data, and all the relevant information must be submitted at the point of submission of the EI report. And during the public review, they heard some of these concerns. So they provided responses to the comments, but they didn't provide any attachments. They had ample time to respond to this. So the fact that they will come and say that they didn't get enough time or the future studies, I'm sorry. This is our position.
Dr. Michael, from a business perspective, this would see that you're nipping innovation and investment, particularly for those that want to get into the waste management system business. Do you think that you're...
I absolutely reject that assumption. I had said it yesterday. This is not about the technology. This is not about the investment. There is so many investments across Fiji that looks at waste management. For example, Pacific Recycle Foundation, they are doing all of this work. Return and Earn. They are all investments that go through proper assessments, environmental assessments. They are working. There is it's not about the waste management solutions. The rejection is solely and purely on the entirety of the EIA report.
And also, sir, does the submission of such an incomplete EIA to a $1.4 billion project suggest that developers were treating the environment regulation with contempt?
I will not comment on that, because for us the process is the process. If they assume that we do not have technically competent people, then you have seen that the technically competent technical review committee has ruled on that and has done a thorough assessment. Fiji is blessed to have so many technically competent, sound individuals that are experts in their field. We don't have to fly people in to come and do our assessments. We have done this for decades and we will continue doing this.
So now, Dr. Michael, with the EIA officially rejected, what is the status of the Vuda land itself?
So currently, this is a good question, Jackie, because in the time when the application was submitted, people asked why did we receive it, right? So at the time when we received the application was also made to DTCP for a master plan. They are then under the DTCP rules treated as a prospective buyer.
Okay.
And under the lens, they had already applied for because TNG has two sub-companies. One is Vuda Pte Limited and there is one on Naikorokoro. So they actually was under the parent company or the sister company. They have sister companies, however you say it. So that transfer application was made. So by law, we are supposed to receive it and assess it. And I don't have to keep saying this to the people because there is a checklist. Was the lease application attached? Yes, tourism lease application was attached. But also attached was the declaration that this was made. We also check with lands and DTCP before we accept. We just don't accept it. So the current land tenure system, it's still tourism special use. There's been no retransfer, and by way of information, for rezoning to occur, there's another public consultation that needs to be taken place by DTCP and lands.
Well, we're going to, amazing discussion we're having with you this morning. Thank you so much. We're going to continue this discussion. Stay with us right after this break. Welcome back. You're watching The Brunch right here on My TV, and we're back in studio with the Permanent Secretary for Environment, Dr. Sivendra Michael, and we've been talking about the rejection of the waste to energy Vuda development. Lai?
Dr. Sivendra, Dr. Michael rather, would you be able to pinpoint some of the recommendations that were given by the TRC?
Okay. So I guess, the TRC looked at the inconsistencies in the report. So the baselines that was provided in the report, the waste management and circular economy assumptions that in the claims around that we can import waste from these countries without the approval. So those were some of the recommendations that those things are missing. They also had a very clear discussions or recommendation on the cost-benefit analysis. Any economist would tell you when you do a CBA, you have to have a counterfactual. So we need to have the cost of the operations, the logistics, the maintenance, and so forth, against the benefits of the project. Emissions profile, what is the kinds of chemical testing that they did. One good one I can tell you was, so at that area, the results showed that the ground testing showed that they had dioxins and fluorines. And their claim was that, the assumption can be that because that would have been, say for example, a sugarcane area or something. But why wasn't those parameters tested for the air? You see, because it's in the ground, it's already in the soil content. So the assumption is that it can be also, so it should be tested. It's not that you just discount it and you don't test it because of, those holding those assumptions. We want the results. If you are doing a borehole, how deep was the borehole? What did the so I think, it's not only the borehole location, the borehole logs. So these are very critical information, and yes, they may have done it, but at the point of submission, it was not there. So the recommendation was mostly that that the TRC cannot recommend approval of the EIA report given these inconsistencies or material deficiencies in the report. So the recommendation to the director was that due to these gaps in the EIA report, that the report cannot be approved.
Also, you had received some petitions online and as well as written. Speak to that a little bit. How many did you receive?
So we received 875 written submissions. 150 of them approximately were procedural matters or dealt with one-liner, like, dear sir, dear madam, I do not support this development. It had no justification.
Right.
So we only analyzed about 755. And they were categorized. It's in the TRC report. Anyone can have access to the TRC report. We categorized it according to the different themes, and each of the technical review committee members, like say for example, if I did chemical profiling or groundwater, then I would have all the groundwater submissions together. And the petition was just a general petition. It was about 8,376 to be exact. So those were the ones that we actually received, and those were tabled too. And we actually presented this in the last consultation. Before the public review finished, we received about 3,000 written submissions, and then we received the 5,000 later. Okay. Yeah.
So, Dr. Michael, the rejection officially cites imported waste as a fatal flaw in the EIA. Does this ruling set a definite government precedent that Fiji will not accept waste colonialism and the future energy projects relying on importing foreign rubbish will be automatically rejected?
I would say let's take a step back and say we have our national waste crisis that we need to deal with first. So before we start thinking about importation of waste, because our own waste is sufficient to generate energy too. So we need to look at very different principles of how we're going to manage waste. And the ministry, together with the government of Fiji in its entirety, has been looking at this thoroughly. When I say thoroughly, we are looking at all levels. We have the national anti-litter campaign. We have the national waste management strategy that is currently being finalized. We already have all the consultations done, soon to go to cabinet. We have the container deposits regulations. Right? So these are all circular economy principles. Then we have two projects. We have the Western Waste Management Facility that is currently about to go to tender in support with ADB. We also have the Ravuwai project World Bank for Vanuatu, where we want a Vanuatu waste management facility. We are actively working about. I think Honorable Madhu Nalumisa also talked about the sorting facilities, somewhere to sort the waste so that whatever goes to the landfill is absolutely what cannot be recycled, cannot be reused. And remember, Fiji's composition of waste is very important. We have large amounts of household waste that is compostable in nature. So we need to also advocate composting, and so forth. So we have been rolling out for the month of June alone, and it should be a whole year thing and forever thing that we have, awareness at the, community level. We have a community beautification project. We need to take pride in the environment we live in, and before we start looking at any other, rejection proposals or any other, because every country would not want to be in that position to send their waste to someone else to manage, right? It's that due diligence, it's that responsibility of every government. We can manage our own problems. Let's manage our own first.
With all these projects that are about to be rolled out, very, very exciting to see how it all, all happens. I think for the public, when, you're going around, it's clear to see that more advocacy, more pride, civic pride is needed.
Very much.
People really need to make an effort, because just everywhere you walk around Suva, you're traveling down to the west, it's so easy for people to just toss their rubbish out on the side of the road, and then it collects, it sits, and it just becomes an eyesore. So looking forward to seeing all these projects being implemented.
Very much, and I think we need to just strengthen our enforcement, because a couple of people get, thousands getting fined would also set that culture that, there's a deterrence policy in place. I think, it's sad. It's really sad, because I grew up in communities where we didn't have this problem. We knew where to put the rubbish. We knew where to, take our rubbish to. We knew how to tie our rubbish bag. Let's start with that, tying our rubbish bag properly. In the very location that I'm living in, residing in currently, people just throw it outside. So that's why in the litter law, we have amended that if you put your rubbish outside the collection dates, you're going to be fined. It starts from that.
Yes,
that basic. It's a civic responsibility that you do the right thing. And you are not able to exercise that inside your home. How can you go outside and start preaching about this? And I think that's the fundamental principles. We can't go and tell our children to go and learn about waste management in school and come and hold the parents to account when the parents themselves are supposed to do it at home.
That is true.
For those that want to access the recommendations and the final report, where do they get it and how much is it?
So we are working today to create the page on the website under Contact Us, so www.mecc.gov.fj. You could also email the ministry, will direct you to the right page. all of the documents that are in the public, in the EIA register are public available, which includes the TRC recommendation report and includes the decision. In this case, we still have the law. Our EIA regulations are still being amended. We still have the prescribed fees. So anybody that wants to get a copy, the decision is 6 pages and the TRC report is about 48 pages. But the decision summarizes a lot of these deficiencies, not the entirety of the TRC report, but what the director felt was needed on behalf of the department that would constitute the decline decision. So in summary, I would say that the $5 that you spend for each of the grog bags, you put together that money, it becomes $30, you pay, you access the report. You know, for me, it's just, it's about civic responsibility too, right? I mean, we not everyone, not in every jurisdiction it's free. You know, in ours it's always been that price, and in fact that price has been there since 2007. It's only now that people are thinking that we are no, we have been charging for those that want to use research, overseas student that wants to come and do something about a rejection case. They will come and access this report. So of course there is a fee.
So with the now that the rejection is through, what legal avenues does TNG Fiji have? Can they appeal your decline decision to the Environmental Tribunal, or is this specific $1.4 billion proposal dead in the water?
So for us, the EIA process has concluded.
Okay.
The end. We've issued the decision.
Right.
Should they not agree with the decision under section 31(3), they can actually go to appeal. Any person can appeal the rejection. So if the tribunal rules in our favor, they can appeal to a higher court, right? And of course, they can go to the appeals court or however they feel like. If the tribunal says, you know, something in favor of the proponent, we can appeal. So now we go to the legal avenues of the Environmental Tribunal, and they have 21 working days to appeal. And so they have just requested for some of the documentation. I am yet to respond to the email, and I will do that shortly.
Okay. And when does that 21 working days end for them?
Well, in my counting yesterday, as I said, it's 3rd of July. It's not 21 calendar days. It's 21 working days, so it's 3rd of July.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and we are going to stay grounded with the TRC recommendation and the decline decision.
Okay then. So will the government now definitely block the pending transfer of the tourism development lease to TNG?
That was in the recommendation of the TRC, and the statutory authorities that are in this TRC are also, represented. So in principle, if the EIA is not approved, there is no point in transferring. Because there is, no decision on the EIA. So the project right now is declined.
Yeah. So now maybe they might want to actually build a hotel on it.
Oh, I cannot comment on that. A hotel would also need an EIA.
Well, Dr. Sivendra, thank you so much for coming in this morning. You've answered our questions, and I'm sure questions from the viewers as well. But we truly appreciate you taking the time and coming by. Do you have any last words, any last parting words for our viewers?
I would say trust the process, respect the process. We have a community and a nation that is made up of educated, highly educated, talented individuals. Do not let your emotions and others take the better of you by being keyboard warriors. We have respect for the process. This process is not new. You can actually educate yourself by reading the laws of Fiji and not attacking individuals or the department or anyone else. Yes, you have the right to do that, but of course there is grounds of respect, and let the process speak for itself. There is integrity and faith in the process and the trust in the process, and the process has delivered itself. So do what a learned and educated individual would do. Ask questions, but do it respectfully.
Thanks so much. That's a great message.
That's right.
And a timely one too. Again, thank you very, very much. Yes. And we're going to a short break right now. Stay with us. We have more right after this. Welcome back. You're watching The Brunch right here on My TV, and we hope you're enjoying the show. We just had a great conversation with Dr. Michael.
That's right.
Very insightful. Really interesting what he had to share with us.
Yeah. A lot of interesting stuff that he didn't mention yesterday, but all is well.
Well, the annual ban on catching kawakawa and donu is also in effect across Fiji, marking another year of efforts to protest the two reef fish species during their peak spawning season.
You know, the season closure, which runs from June to September, aims to give the fish time to reproduce and replenish their population, helping safeguard food security and livelihoods for the future generations.
And the movement is now expanding as well. It's focused through a new Fish Smart campaign, which encourages people not only to observe the seasonal closure, but to also avoid catching, buying or selling undersized fish.
And earlier this week, My TV caught up with Sea Change, the organization coordinating the Ford Fiji movement conservation campaign.
The journey to protect kawakawa and donu began more than a decade ago. In 2014, the 4FJ movement was launched as a voluntary campaign, encouraging Fijians to support the protection of these species during their spawning period. 3 years later, Fiji strengthened its commitment on the global stage by making a voluntary pledge at the United Nations Oceans Conference. In 2018, the seasonal closure was officially gazetted and became law. Today, the ban is observed annually from June through September.
The kawakawa and donu seasonal ban has already shown positive results with more fish in better sizes being seen. It really shows that when we protect fish during their spawning season, it works.
While no recent formal assessment has been carried out, conservation groups and fisheries stakeholders say there is a clear evidence that protecting spawning fish is helping populations recover. The success of the seasonal closure has also paved the way for new conservation efforts.
Just building on that, the 4FJ movement is now focusing on the 4FJ Fish Smart campaign. We're working very closely with the Ministry of Fisheries and the Itoke Affairs Board, and supported by the QA initiative to encourage people not just to catch, buy or sell undersized fish.
The Fish Smart campaign promotes a simple but important message. Every fish needs time to grow and reproduce before it is harvested. The initiative is also working directly with communities through pilot learning sites in Lau and Maduata, demonstrating sustainable fishing practices at the local level. For many Fijian communities, healthy reefs mean food security, income, and cultural connection. Protecting fish during their breeding season helps ensure these benefits continue for years to come. As the seasonal closure continues through September, the message from fisheries officials and conservation partners is clear.
We're encouraging everyone to respect the kawakawa and donu ban from June through September and to fish smart, since this helps our reefs stay healthy and just ensuring our fisheries continue to support our communities.
There you have it. The Fiji and Drua have wrapped up their 2026 season, and it's been a mixture of sorts with results.
But on Tuesday night, Jacquee, they held an appreciation event where they recognized some of the key players, and they also farewelled 8 players from the club.
There you have it. And joining us now to tell us more is our very own Lusi Banuve.
Hi, Jacquee and Lai. Yes, the 2026 season has wrapped up for the Fiji and Drua. Like you mentioned, Jacquee, it's been a mixture of sorts. You know, they had 14 matches in this round. It's the regular round. And with that, there were 5 wins, and there were, unfortunately, 9 losses. So the Fiji and Drua finished in 10th place this 2026 season with 21 points. And, you know, management say they hope that next year, being their 6th year, they can do a little bit better in terms of wins. Most of these wins that happened were on home ground. And yes, on Tuesday, just this week on Tuesday, an appreciation event just to honor some of the really hardworking players. At that award, the evening that was held at the Sofitel Resort on Denarau, they singled out some players, like I mentioned earlier. So ANZ sponsors a particular award called the Personal Development Award. This goes to the player that throughout the season has done a lot in terms of investment, things that they will prepare for themselves, not only in rugby, but family-wise, business-wise. And this award went to Samuel Atawake for he's just invested in a farm, and he's begun, I think he's looking into exporting and all those things that will help him when his rugby career ends. The Indo Soccer Award went to Mesake Donye. This is for integrity, leadership, and just skills that he brings as a senior player into the team. This award went to Mesake Donye this year. The Fan Player of the Year award went to Manasa Mataele. Manasa is a former Crusaders, and this award went to him because fans voted for him, as the award mentions. The Rookie of the Year went to Serusi Ravundi. This young man, like this last year, he hadn't made up his mind about joining the Drua. He joined the Drua development side pre-season last year. And when it was just even before playing anything for the development side, he was boosted up to the main team, and he scored a try in his debut in the first game in Ba. So went to Serusi Ravundi. And the main awards of the year went to Kitione Salawa. He scooped 2 awards, the Player of the Year and the Player's Player of the Year. That award was chosen by the players themselves. So they awarded Kitty that award. We also see some departures. We also see some departures this year. These are some of the key players. If you've been following the Drua, you would have heard this particular name, Isona Silasila. 5 years with the franchise, and he leaves now for Japan. The other departures have been Eto Niawanga, and Elisandro Sese, who are thought to be leaving for France. Elia Vanakaivata and Ponipate Longanimasi are joining Sail Sharks in England. And Joe Tamani heads to New Zealand. And Simeone Kurvoli heads to France. And the youngest one of the lot that's leaving the Drua is Inia Tambovo. Now, he came to the Drua from Racing 92, a top 14 French club. Now he's going back to join a Pro D2 club in France, Vans. And, on Tuesday night, he said that he wanted to try something else. And he's very young, and he said, and maybe I'll come back to the Drua later. But that's what the Fijian Drua men season has looked like, and it was capped off with a appreciation evening on Tuesday.
Oh, great update there, Lucy. Anything else happening on the sports front, especially with this weekend?
Yes, Jackie. So now, just before I go to a sports wrap up, so very quickly, 10 of the Drua boys have made it. And the Flying Fijians depart Fiji on the 24th of this month. This is for the Rugby Nations Cup, and they play Wales on the 4th, England on the 11th, and Scotland they play next month, July 4th against Wales, July 11th against England, and July 18th against Scotland. In other sports that's happening, Yetsen recently won the Fiji National Schools badminton championship, and in both grades. Yetsen won in both grades. In the boys division, Yetsen came first. In second place was International Secondary School Suva, and in third place was SVC of Nandi. And in the girls division, Yetsen took first place and SVC Nandi took the second place. Currently happening right now is the Vodafone Fiji Cup. This is in the sport of basketball. It's in its second day today. It ends tomorrow after beginning yesterday. There's 16 top teams that are battling it out, and an interesting point about this is the Kauniquila basketball team is fielding 3 teams. the club is fielding 3 teams in this year's Vodafone Fiji Cup. They're the Kauniquila Aces, Kauniquila Royals, and the Kauniquila Raiders. So, you know, if people want to support some basketball, that's happening right now at the Vodafone Arena. And again, the Fijian Drua women kick off their 2026 Super W campaign tomorrow afternoon at Leichhardt Oval in Sydney. They play the Waratahs. And I guess something that's very close to Fiji, also another sport that very close to people's hearts in Fiji, is the sport of soccer or football. And the 2026 soccer tournament kicks off in Lambasa on June 19th. June 19th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and then they take a break and they come back for the finals the following weekend. They held the draws this past week, and in Pool A you see Lambasa, Rewa, Suva, and Navua make up that pool, and in the second pool, Pool B, you have Ba, Lautoka, Nasinu, and Nandronga. You know, and if there are people wanting to watch this overseas or locally, you can do so right here on My TV. My TV will be showing it live on the PPV platform, and you can access payment options when you through Ticketmax, www.ticketmax.com.fj, or you can visit the My TV office at Spring Street to get more information about the matches, the payment details, and everything else you need to know about the 2026 Big Fiji Fact Soccer Tournament.
Much for that update, Lucy. Great sports update from you. We're going to take a look now at our shot of the day.
Captured from a moving car this beautiful afternoon, a sunset over Albert Park paints a perfect backdrop as people train, enjoy a game of rugby, and simply stroll by.
Beautiful. And if you have a picture or video you'd like featured on the show, please send it to us on the MyTV Facebook page or email brunch@mytvfiji.com.
Now, to the results of our poll questions that we have on the MyTV Facebook page, we had asked,
how would you rate the effectiveness of the government's cost of living relief measures fully absorbing the 22.5% bus fare hike and subsidizing the new power surcharge for households earning below $30,000?
70% of those that answered were ineffective.
And while only 6 respectively felt it was very and somewhat effective. To our new poll question this week, go ahead and apply.
To our new poll questions this week, do you think government should reduce or remove fuel taxes to cushion the rising cost of fuel?
Yeah, so let us know what you think. We'd really like to know by participating in our poll question that is pinned at the top of the MyTV Facebook page. And you could go into the draw to win a slow cooker from Comfort Home Furnishings. That's the slow cooker. I wish I could enter this competition, and, you know, win this, but unfortunately I cannot. But, you know, all the men out there, if you're wanting to learn how to cook something scrumptious, if you know how to cook too, this is also a win for you. Take part in the poll question. It's as simple as just sharing your opinion and letting us know.
That's right, Jackie. We'll be announcing the winner every week right here on the show.
Yeah, exciting. And this week, our winner is... Drum rolls. Jamie, why aren't you playing drum rolls? We need to work on this. Anyways, our winner this week is Sala Raiwalui. So Sala, if you're watching this, we'll be in touch with you so that you can come and collect your prize from the MyTV office right here in Toorak.
Well, that's it from us. I hope you enjoyed the show.
And thank you for joining us. For The Brunch, I'm Jacquee Speight.
And I'm Ilatia Ravuwai. Have a great day.
Have a great day. Have a blessed weekend. Drive safely. Don't drink and drive. Be sure to practice safe sex. Take care.